Before you watch this video, I wanted to give you a little bit of background. One of the problems with these training videos is we never really get the background or the insight, what happens before or after. So we have just finished 7 weeks of class, and I'm having the kids sort through all of their previous writing that is graded, so they have feedback from it to kind of form an idea of where they are. So they're checking in on their own progress as based on the feedback that I've given them. And then they're self-assessing where their strengths and weaknesses are. So you'll see some voting on that as they kind of look at themselves based on their grades and their own perception of that. They're going to formulate a writing goal, which is themselves formulating goals. And then they're going to do a chart on the board. And you'll see me kind of collect that. And I'm going to keep that for my record and say, all right, where do my students think they're strong? Where do they think they're weak? With 3.5 weeks to go, I'll use that data to push my instruction. Then we start a new paper, and you'll see a second set of scales there. And there they are going to predict. They haven't done the paper yet, but they're going to predict where they are based on what they know they can accomplish based on the first 7.5 weeks and what they think about the assignment as they look at it and kind of predict where they'll be able to be. So that gives me an idea of confidence moving forward. So you'll see a couple different sets of scales here, one of them predictive, and the first one at the beginning of the video is based on the grades they've received. So hopefully that kind of clears up what's going on, and at the end of the video they go from pre-writing into constructing their new paper. And then they'll be able to test that scale throughout this unit to see, all right, I thought I was here, was I right, was I not? So enjoy the videos. All right, so because you've just looked at all of the papers you've written up thus far, you've decided what are you good at out of the 6 parts of writing that we cover, and what do you need work on. I just want you to show of hands where our strengths are. So how many of you say G is for good? How many of you say your best is in organization? Raise your hand if organization is your strong point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 5 of you. How many of you say organization is where you need work? It's where you get your lowest marks. 1, 2, 3.
It's okay. This essay I did with it on, but all the other ones are good.
All right, so 4.5. We'll call that one. How many of you guys are good with ideas? This is the formulation of new thoughts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. How many of you know you need work in ideas? And you see this because of the graded papers you've gotten back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Love it. Sentence fluency. How many of you are strong in sentence fluency?
Can we raise our hand more than once?
I'd like you to just kind of pick your one best. Perfect, thank you. Good clarifying question. How many of you are kind of weak in sentence fluency? Ah, good. Take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You are not alone. Conventions, grammar, spelling, mechanics. How many of you are strong here so you get good grades? 1, 2, 3. Love it. Looking at all your papers, how many know you're kind of weak in conventions, grammar, mechanics, and spelling? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're owning it. I love it. Word choice. How many of you know you might be weak in word choice? Oh, I love you guys are owning it. Down to voice. How many of you are good? We'll come back to switching. How many of you are good with word choice, with voice? Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've identified. Good.
6.
And how 6?
Right, you forgot me.
Easy. I'm not forgetting you. I'm saving you for that. And then how many of you know you are a little weak? You need work in voice. 1.
Wait, I better learn.
Yeah. Word choice. One more. I got you. I got you. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, what as a class are we doing a pretty good job with?
Ideas.
Ideas. You've got things to say. As a class, that's kind of where we are. What do we need help with as a class? Sentence fluency, conventions a little bit. I think we're pretty solid in voice, which I would agree.
Word choice.
Okay, well, I'm not saying we're perfect anyway. So now you have a snapshot of where we are as a class. Also, you know where you need some work. What your strength is, what you can rely on your writing, and what you need a little work on. So ladies and gentlemen, on your writing folder right there, what is one thing you're going to try to do in the remaining 3.5 weeks to address the area where you're weak? Write yourself a little goal. What am I going to try and do? And this next paper will be a great place to do that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how to clear up an infection. Moving on to today's lesson. Let's take a look right up here at our learning objectives. Now, for a long time in class, we had one big objective, and that was to deal with evidence and to have clear organization. We're at a point right now where our new objective in this class with our essays is to combine these. So our objectives have changed a little bit. Combine organization, evidence, and ideas into one strong essay. We're not treating them as individual elements anymore. We're going to see how they all kind of work together in this next paper. Right, so author's voice is clear and authentic. We have talked a little bit about voice. We've dabbled in it. I know in the last paper you wrote down what voice you were aiming for. Now you're going to be very conscious of voice. I want you to kind of put this stuff on the back burner. Don't forget about it. Put a lot of your effort into this objective because it's relatively new. Create an original thesis. Our old objective was have a clear thesis. You guys were awesome at that. Now it's a matter of, can you come up with a new idea? Not just reiterating someone else's idea. So this is where we're going. These are the 4 big things we've been dealing with in class for the first 7 weeks. I want you to now treat those as one. They need to work in conjunction. Voice is still going to be by itself. And just to get an idea of how you're doing on this, you were just looking at your grades, so you have a pretty good idea. If 4 means I'm really good at it, I can help somebody in a peer editing session. 3 means I'm fine. 2 means still struggling, and 1 means I really need help. The same 4-point scale we've been working on. Think about evidence, coming up with evidence. Think back to your writing. How many of you would put yourself on the scale and evidence? Just raise your hand up. So if you're a 4, show me a 4. If you're a 3, just proficient for evidence. Perfect. And that's kind of in the ideas area right here. Good. Organization. You just talked about this. Raise your hand. Show me where you are on the scale for organization. 4. And we should see lots of high numbers. Some of you said, I'm really good at that. Anybody looking for 1s? Pretty good on that. All right. Ideas. Ideas. 4 to 1. Where are you with ideas? A lot of you said you were really good with this. All right. So those are the things. So if you're thinking to yourself, oh, gosh, I just gave myself a 4 here and a 3 here, but a 1 here, what do you know you need to focus on for this next assignment? Your ideas. If you gave yourself straight 4s and 3s for all of these, what can you now kind of move on to in our objectives? Nice, Dean. Absolutely. Good. And you dressed very sharp today. I couldn't help but notice. No, thank you.
Put the camera.
Yeah, show it. You got it. You got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the piece of paper I gave you, on the back is the scale that we'll be using for this class in this particular series of objectives. So this is new. It's also up here on the board. I can easily write an essay which creatively combines bold new ideas, powerful intentional organization, ample evidence which convinces the reader of the thesis. I feel comfortable helping others with the writing process as well. This is a 4. What grade usually goes along with this one?
50s. High 50s.
Yeah. We're at A+ range, high A. I can write an essay which combines new ideas, intentional organization, evidence, supporting my thesis. What grade range is this usually? We could be in our A- to B range. I can write an essay with essential, oh wow, check that out. I can write an essay with essential idea, decent organization with some evidence. Oops. Yep, I would say that's our low B to C. And this, I cannot formulate a new idea. My organization is haphazard, good word, and unintentional, and the writing doesn't contain evidence. What grade do we give this? That's right. We call that a fail. That's not what we want to do. D's and F's in this class are not acceptable. That's why we have the rewrite process. So I want you to, you haven't done this assignment yet, but I want you to think about where you might be. Do you think you're at a 4 going into this? Do you think I'm probably proficient? I'm a 3. Do you think, gosh, I still need some help? Or am I possibly a 1? Here's what I want you to do. If you're a 4, I want you to actually stand up and come to this area right here in the class. You're going to physically come over here and say, I'm ready to do this. And we're going to see you and say, those people can help us out. For 4, it's going to be right here. If you're a 3, I'm pretty good. I'm handling my business all right. You're going to go right here. If you're a 2, which is like, I occasionally struggle, I'm kind of on that line, I can do it okay, I'm here. If you're a 1, you really don't think you're going to be able to do this. You're projecting because you haven't done it yet, but you know where you might be. You go to that corner. 4, 3, 2, 1. You've got 7 seconds to move. Everybody stand up. Put yourself in the corner that best presents where you are on the scale. 3, for this whole essay, for putting all this together. Where do you think you're going to be? You don't feel shy. If you feel like you might be a 4, please don't go 4. Yeah. This is a projection. This is a straight projection. So you're putting yourself right here?
I don't know. I'm thinking 2 and 3.
Well, this is a 2, so you're thinking you're a 2? You're thinking 2 as well? I'm thinking that's where you go? That's no problem? Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, I want you to look around because we're going to be working on this for a week. Are you chasing her out?
She's a 4.
She's got to self-assess. Where do you think you go? 3. Then you stay right here with a 3. That's fine. These guys are saying, I think we've got this. They are resources. When we peer edit, perfect. People right here, when you read each other's papers, you need to be looking and say, like, I'm about there. That's fine. And look, what can we do to move here? You always want to move up a level. Ladies, you're a little concerned. You're not quite there yet.
No, I'm in between 2 and 3.
Well, then move in between 2 and 3.
Well, okay, I didn't want to go to the camera.
You guys want to get some half scales? I can live with that. And so, Evan, we've got the same struggles we've had before, and that's okay. You know that corner is going to be a good place for you to go. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, look around where people are. Look at the kind of writing you've seen a lot of it. Think about what can I do to move up the scale. You're not for sure because you're just projecting, but this is where you think you are as we move into this unit. Good? Perfect. Go back to your seats. Move back to your seats. Perfect. Thank you. I love the honesty. Good. I like that you did the scale. Jordan. Okay, so now the students are doing some pre-writing, and I'm going to stop by each of their places and to see how they're doing. Either get them back on task or monitor where they are, having seen them vote on the scale that they think they are, so see if I can move them and push them a little bit. So this is me checking in, and I'm going to do this for each table, so that gives me monitoring of all after having seen them rate themselves on the scale. And I'm going to start with Natalie. Hey, Natalie.
Hi.
Hey. So do you have an idea?
I have an idea, but I don't really know if I would be blindfolded because you gave me that idea, and I was like, oh, that would probably be a good idea.
Okay, so you've rated yourself as a 3, right?
Yeah.
And your ideas are good, usually?
I mean, honestly, I don't really know. Like, I'm kind of confused because you wrote my paper, good ideas, but you need more details.
Okay, so
where would that fall?
that is going to be evidence.
Okay.
So your ideas are good, so I would trust this to know that you're going to need it here.
Okay.
Perfect?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to come over here, and Dean, again, dressed well. Your ideas are almost always awesome in your papers.
Really?
I think so.
I always get, that's my worst.
That's your worst? Okay. So is it an evidence thing? Not enough detail? Okay, so it's going to be similar to what I said with Natalie. So if you have an idea, make sure you're backing it up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what idea are you going to go with?
That.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I was just gonna explain like how like people like they fidget or like they when someone gets killed, they people that don't act surprised.
Right. Perfect. Have like
Knew that was coming. So.
write the number 5 down right here. I want you to have 5 examples. And that way, if you hit 5, you should be amply supported. Perfect. Good. And now I'm going to go around to the other tables because you need to film that. So that's the monitoring piece after they've rated themselves on a scale.